It's Libra full moon season in 2025. Full moon, new moon. It's a Libra moon. If you haven't done any manifestations yet, I would suggest that you hop on that right now because this is a potent time to manifest any sort of changes that you want in your relationships. I particularly tonight on the 23rd of October, yes, 23rd of October, is feeling pretty somber. I am sitting in the energy of noticing and being extremely aware and just seeing the state of society, seeing how distraught the connection the feminine body has to its environment. And I'll get more into it. I will say straight up that there is an attack on the feminine body. And this Libra full moon is giving me the energy, is giving me the power, is giving me the time to actually sit down and think about it. And sit down and do something about it in the best way that I know. And I know that through my storytelling, telling my story, talking about it in a way that is engaging enough for people to sit down and listen. I was connecting the dots earlier. How when I was a teenager and when I was in my young adulthood, there was a sense of not girl power, but there was a sense of freedom that I've enjoyed. Freedom in my sexuality, freedom in my womanhood, freedom in my expression, freedom to experience anything, and it feels short lived. It feels short lived. And I wonder why that is, right? Is it a test? And I spoke about this in discussions and in dialogue, in planning sessions. Is it a test in our power, in our position, in our what we'll do to actually make a lasting change that lasts for generations and not just for one, barely even one generation, right? Um, because every single generation of women who have enjoyed the freedoms of their sexuality is alive right now, right? And we are all facing we are all facing an assault on what we fought for, an attempt to pull down and knock down everything that we established, right? And there is a need for a unifying front. I'm getting very political here. And the opposition seems to have a unifying front. There's literally, it seems to me that there is no way of getting in there, right? Without facing someone resisting you. Because it seems to me that the opposition has a common goal, and being grounded in their own delusion of the superiority. And being in the sign of Libra at the moment, a Libra tends to be very diplomatic, tends to be slow to decisions, They don't want to be conflict. They don't want any conflict, but they do want peace and harmony. Okay? And so there's a lot of hush hush. There's a lot of quiet that's happening at the moment. So it's about time to be open. At least for me, I am ready to talk about this in a way that is actually uh, helpful. And I'm speaking in a very subliminal way. I'm not saying the terms very outright because I want you to be able to hear it. And those who understand where I'm coming from, understand where I'm coming from. And you're listening and you're hearing it. I don't need to tell you what I'm telling you about. I don't need to use the terms. I had to get myself comfortable. I got myself a blanket. There is this full moon, new moon, whatever it is. I'll have the right one in the title, I'm sure. But this Libra moon is extremely. It's given. It's time to self-reflect, babe, and it's time to actually start talking, because even though I am sick of the leaders and the politicians and everyone, the representatives, and the way that they're talking about uh these these issues, and it's frustrating because it's giving you seem to be shooting yourself in your own foot because you're not even addressing their main points. You're not even saying anything that makes sense, and you're crashing out and you're getting emotional, and it's not serving the purpose that you seem to be serving. And I'm on my cycle too. Okay, so my cycle is going with the moon. Okay, it's going with the moon, so it's extremely potent. All right, and even though I am suggested to be not so quick with my words, okay, even though I have a lot of quickness to say, but not be so quick with it, be think through certain things and stuff like that. The energy is, I'm talking about the reading I gave myself earlier. It's a lot of time for rest. And a lot of time for prayer. And this hope that there is some way to fight it. Because now I'm no longer interested in appealing to the senses of the people who's going against my autonomy, my right, my power. It's more so I need to reclaim it and I need to take it back. Because this onslaught, this fight is getting psychological. And I give you a smirk because if you have watched my previous videos, you know that I have strong Scorpio placements. I spoke a lot about my Scorpio moon, and me being a Scorpio moon, I tend to be very intense, very powerful, and my power lies in my emotional resilience. So when warfare starts to get psychological, I'm a formidable opponent. Okay? Because when it comes to psychological warfare, then we can actually say something. So um allow me to muse a bit. There is going to have, and I'm saying this with a lot of confidence because I know that's where it has to go, that's where it is going, that there is going to have new legislation that is going to be impossible to fight against, that's going to allow women to have complete power and control over their own bodies. As the only group of bodies that does everything to control their cycle, is only a given that we are going to find a way to get our power. So, this assault, this violation, is only a challenge. It's not a defeat. It's only a challenge. You know why? Because our protections need to be stronger. It showed a crack in the system, it showed a crack in what was given to us. Therefore, new legislation is being written up. New documents are being written up. New words, new ways of speaking, new ways of looking at things are being done. Why? Because we see what's happening and we are not going to allow it. The right people are in there. Now, I did spoke a lot about my romantic relationships on here. Relationships, like I'm saying, more than one, only one. And I would tell you that with Pluto going direct and the Libra moon and everything, it's providing me a much more clearer picture and what that relationship is like and what the reality of it is. And it's telling me that a lot of the issues are just misconceptions, right? Because it's me lacking understanding of the other person's point of view and lacking an understanding of their perspective, right? Something as simple as this: when we somehow a conversation came up about the first time we met, okay, the first time we met each other, I was talking about what he was wearing and how he looked and the way he was walking and the way he moved and how I really loved everything like that. And he told me, I don't remember all of that. I don't remember what you was wearing. I don't remember anything like that. I remembered how you were pushing your aunts on the wheelchair up and down the hallway. That's what I remember. I thought it was funny. In my head, it was just intense, sensual, magnetic experience that was, I was going to say orgasmic in nature. It was extremely emotional, so to speak. But to him, it was him seeing something so lighthearted and warm. And that what he remembers, that is the emotional imprint he has of me. And it seems like it's polar opposites, because for me, I feel this push and pull. I feel this intensity. I feel this this magnetizing energy that is hard to break away from, and it just it gets to the point that it's obsessive. And him, he sees just the sweetest ball of energy, the sweetest thing ever. That's so kind and empathetic and nurturing, and that is just so fun. And I usually don't look at myself like that. I usually don't perceive myself like that. However, a lot of people do. They do see me as this warm cushion of joy and love and laughter and sprinkles and honey. And it's less about that intensity. So I would say this Libra moon is allowing a lot of opposite energies to neutralize. I started it off really, really intense, and I ended it off with this lighthearted energy. And that is quite necessarily what's necessary in this time, in this moment, in this time where there's a lot of frightening things that are trying to happen, but I'm optimistic that it's not. Because now everything that is coming against the life that I have for the next generation, for my children, is showing itself. I'm going to knock it down all at once and one by one. Okay, y'all, I'll see you on the next one. I hope you enjoy yourself. You can check out my other videos if you want more videos, more intensity, just more details on transit, storytelling, and I'll see you on the next one.